any other places that those people can go or that do forensics or DNA testing or anything like that, and that is just huge, and I do not think that that program should be cut under any circumstance.
Okay, Jennifer? Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to say that everything, that nothing's on the chopping block, but as a small business owner and somebody that's worked with decent-sized organizations that have had budget shortfalls, I'll tell you, every single thing needs to be looked at. And that's why I again go back to the employees at the county. You know, if they haven't received a financial pay increase in several years and don't have one on the horizon, let's incentivize them like a big business would to find a way to increase efficiency, to find a way to cut dollars within their department. They're going to be the ones who tell us where there's waste and where there is not. And as a small business owner, I've had to make tremendous cuts. My clients have had to make tremendous cuts. So I think it would be foolish for me to say that everything, that anything in particular would be safe. I don't think that we can say that.
Ira?
I do want to stand here and say I would protect fire and police. I had the pleasure of being endorsed by the PBA, the county sheriff, and the IAFFA, the county firefighters. I would protect them. Public safety is the essence of what we are here for government. You want to be able to pick up the phone and call 911. You want a deputy in your neighborhood if you need it. I would protect public safety, #1 for me. Thank you.
Let's go back to Pete here so we keep all the districts together.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would agree with Myra that the reason we have government is public safety, and those things are basically sacrosanct. Not to say you can't squeeze efficiencies out of them, and when you have the unions that are asking for more pay and less hours, I think there's room for negotiation. In Orange County, if you would track what happened when the revenue started falling, I think we owe a lot to our mayor and our administrators. We started a year ahead of the curve, reducing budgets, holding off on hiring, and doing everything necessary to kind of stem the flow of blood when it was going to come. What would I cut? When you get past public safety, you don't have a lot of budget discretion left. I would look at what we call the CRPs, the Citizens Review Panel dollars. I think there's opportunities for us to partner with United Way, not totally wiping out that pot of money, but being more productive with it and doing better programming with it and use the benefit of their money along with our money, attack community problems that have risen to the top of the heap through their needs assessments and the work they do over there. And I would look at that as kind of a starting point.
Doug, you want to go first for the District 5?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I don't believe, first of all, in across-the-board budget cuts, certain percentage cuts. I do believe in working more closely with each and every one of our departments. When we talk about personnel and administration and making departments more efficient, no department is immune, including police and fire. We worked very directly in the city of Maitland with respect to police and fire, and the police department was the only one whose budget didn't go down. It went up approximately 1%, and every other department went down between 5% and 38% in the city of Maitland. So I would say that every department with respect to personnel and administration needs to be looked at, but however, I would not accept any cuts that would result in a degradation of the response times to our residents. Thank you.
And Ted?
Last but not least, I do agree with Doug on this. Everything and the others, I think everything should be on the table. Everything should be reviewed. We need to screw up the numbers. I have a history of doing that. When I was on the board, I had a reputation of being very frugal. I think Mayor Crotty and others can attest to that. We do need to give priority, as mentioned, to public safety, the greatest function that local government serves. Well, the government serves in general is protecting our borders and protecting our citizens. So I'd give priority to public safety, but still I would screw up their numbers. I don't think we can underestimate just how painful it is for local government now, how much revenues have gone down, laws that are on the books now to keep those revenues from going up with certain caps and things like that. So this is going to be a very long-term process for us in local government, and so it's going to be painful. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves like we have in private sector, and I will do that.
All right, let's move on to issues of growth and development, certainly something facing the county these days. And as an example, let's talk about a vote that took place last month. As we all know, the commission very narrowly defeated a proposal to build more than 6,000 new homes in Southeast Orlando, the Innovation Way East project. So I'd like for each of you to tell me how, or tell us how you would have voted on that proposal and why, and how that illustrates your attitude and philosophy towards development and growth in Orange County. And Jennifer, let's start with you.
I'm happy to answer that one. I'm actually, out of the four of us up here, I believe I'm the only one that would have been a conditional yes vote. And I've tried to make that very public and tried to explain to folks why and how I got to that conclusion. I think that there's some conditions within that property that we needed to look at. The most important was the environmental preservation and finding a compromise within the Econ River and Turkey Creek. With that said, it's often confused that saying that the developer was asking for 6,000 homes like we were going to put them up tomorrow. They were asking for a land use change, which would have allowed the folks out in East Orange County to see a very valuable interchange be built that would have been necessary for completing long-range economic development infrastructure. Second, there was $15 million roughly on the table for essentially an innovation fund that would have been used to nurture middle stage companies and create a new UCF technology incubator.
Myra.
Thank you. I did not accept the application that was submitted. I did agree with the mayor's changes to it. We do have to move forward. We need growth in Orange County. Everyone says if we stop growth and stop development, we might as well board up our houses and head out, because growth is what thrives our economy, thrives jobs, thrives people here in this room. What I was worried about was more of the land protection, and I would like to see more growth going up. I'm a wife of a contractor. We have made our livelihood on development. I'm not an anti-development candidate. On the contrary, I want to see smart development. I want to see smart buildings going up. I want to see going up instead of out. We have a lot of concrete out there. I would really like to look at redevelopment more. I want to push that as an effort. But by no means am I anti-growth. We have to move forward. We have to keep growing. Thank you.
Pete?
I was one of the individuals who stood up at the last hearing and said that I would not support the Innovation Way East, and there's a couple of reasons why. One is that in my mind it was totally unnecessary at this point in time, and the reason is that there was an implied contract with the residents of that area that Innovation Way had been created, and I think Innovation Way is just phenomenal. It is really, that is what planning should be about. That is a comprehensive plan that everybody should really admire. But there was an implied contract with the residents that was it, that's the way it was going to be. And this was so far outside of the urban service boundaries that it didn't pass any kind of test. And that was the big problem that I had with it, that it was going to allow them to probably jump to econ at some point in time. And I think that when they turned down the deal to build those 500 houses within that acreage and said that was not acceptable to them, I think that just told us what the whole deal was all about. I'm not anti-growth. I think grow up, grow smart, but we have so many acres that are available right now. If there is a need for it, I think we're going to be probably in good shape for the next 20, 25 years.
And Lydia.
Thank you. I attended every single community meeting on IWE. I spoke against this project at the LPA meeting, as well as both Board of County Commissioner meetings. As you know, I'm in the real estate business, so I am not anti-growth, I am smart growth. And this was nothing more than urban sprawl. We need to protect our rivers. We need to protect the wildlife corridor. It is not the right time to expand the urban service boundary. Just on a fire station alone would be $6 million. They were only going to bring in approximately $250,000 in tax revenue. And to maintain a fire station, it's over $2 million. So it is not the right time to put that infrastructure on the taxpayers. We also need to protect our rural settlements. So in this case, I was absolutely not in support of Innovation Way East, which was just another word, unfortunately, for urban sprawl. Thank you.
Ted, you go first this time.
Thank you, and I do agree with the concept of redevelopment. When I was on the board, I headed a student task force that looked at UCF, and we provided incentives for blighted areas adjacent to it, density bonuses and things like that. Now we have blighted areas being redeveloped with high-rise student housing, which one gets them off the streets and put them right next to UCF where they belong. As far as this project, I agree we should not expand the urban service area unless there's a very good reason for it. Currently, UCF Research Park is out of It's pretty much built out. There are no large pads. And whether you want to admit it or not, if you want to have the big companies come here, if you want to attract high tech, we got to have somewhere to put it. You just can't stick your head in the sand. So as far as this project, I think there is merit for taking a holistic approach and looking at it. I agree with the vote, but the vote